Hi, I'm Rocco Stano, and welcome to StoryMakers. Today we have Mark Shulman with us, and he's going to tell us about his book, I Voted. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Rocco. I'm glad to be here today with everyone.
What are you wearing on your shirt?
These are stickers that I've got because I voted. When you vote where I live, they give you a sticker each time. This one was because I voted. This was given to my kids because it says I'm a future voter. And that's for when they're going to be able to vote themselves one day.
And your book is about voting.
It's important that everybody know why they have to vote because we want to have a government that works for everybody. And the only way you can get your own choices made is if you raise your hand and tell people what you want. In a classroom, that's easy. But when it's a whole country or a city or a state, then you have to go to the voting booth. And when you vote, that's like raising your hand for the thing that you want.
What's the full title of the book?
The full title of the book is I Voted, Making a Choice Makes a Difference.
There are all different types of elections. Can you tell me the difference between some of these elections?
Your town or your city where you live is usually the first election that they have. And that could be a mayor or aldermen or representatives on your council, the school board. But then on a bigger level, you're part of a state. And the state that you live in, whether it's in Maine, Florida, California, or Alaska, all those states have their own governments. And they're usually run by a governor who has senators and representatives that also come with them to Washington, D.C. And then you have the national election for the president. And when the president is being elected every 4 years, then the whole country votes to see which person they want to be the next president.
People are voting in all different ways these days. Where do you vote in New York?
I vote at a school that is right down the street from my apartment. And it's fun because that's the school where my kid went when he was a preschooler. And so I get to keep going every year. And it's interesting because another person who worked on the book with me, the editor of the book, also votes at the same place. And I saw him one time when we were both voting.
You mentioned the various local and state and national elections, but there's also something called the general election and the primary election. Now, so what's a primary election?
Earlier in the year, it could be April, May, June, in that part of the year, they have elections for all the people. There could be 15 people who want to get the job. And then after that, the top people, the top winner on each side gets to go to what they call the general election. And that's the one more people hear about. And that almost always happens in November.
Some people can get very emotional about their candidates. And what do you think that's good or bad?
Well, it can be good or bad. If you're very excited about something, then it's good because you want to make sure that other people know what you like. In the book, we talk about the election in a school, in a classroom, because they have a choice of making a class pet that's either a rabbit or a turtle. And there are kids on both sides who really want a rabbit, and there are kids who really want a turtle. And they can make posters, and they can talk about it, and they can decide why one animal would be better than the other. And it's good to have that kind of conversation.
Well, I would vote for the turtle myself. I think that most people would probably want a rabbit, but I think my choice would be the turtle.
You'd be surprised. I think it's pretty fair that it's even. There are people who like things slow and steady and dependable. There are people who like things fast and exciting. And that's both kinds of people. And if more people in your community want things one way, then that's how it should be.
Mark, why don't we host an election where our viewers can actually have a voice and they can vote? Do you have any ideas?
Rocco, that's a good question. In fact, there is an important election that kids across the country are participating in all the time. And the question is, what do you prefer, markers or crayons?
Well, that's easy. Crayons, it's pretty obvious.
I'm sorry, markers are really the place where kids are going to get more fun and more color.
I don't know. I always travel with at least 2 crayons.
I always travel with at least 14 markers everywhere I go.
You have to use your pockets. Mine come in a box.
True, but markers make brighter colors and really good squeaky sounds when you use them.
Crayons have the best names for colors, like dandelion or indigo. They're non-toxic and they are made in America. And one more point, Mr. Rogers had an episode where they go to a crayon factory.
You make good points, and I respect your opinion. I do. It's just that when it comes to markers, these last a long time, and your pictures stay up. They don't fade. Markers are way to go, and I'm always going to stand behind them because my name is Mark.
I could see your point there. You know, I think that what we need to do is campaign by posting signs. So I have designed mine that says Rocco from KidLit TV says vote crayons.
I wish I'd known that you were going to do that because I would have brought my poster that says vote markers for a brighter future.
We mentioned that you have to be 18 to vote. So if you're not 18, how can people under 18 help get the vote out?
Well, Rocco, if you're a kid, the most important thing you can do is to make sure that the grown-ups around you who can vote do, even the older teenagers, that they're registered to vote. You ask, are you registered? You ask, are you going to vote? You ask, did you mail in the ballot? You ask, who are you going to vote for? You ask, why are you going to vote for that person? What do you like about them? Or, how come you don't like that other person? Why wouldn't you vote for them? There's so many questions that kids can ask, and when they do, grown-ups do a better job of answering and then saying, yeah, I think I'd better go vote. A lot of grown-ups don't have the time or forget, and that's just not helpful for everybody. Kids can make really sure that everybody is doing their best to vote.
You know, I'm only one vote. It really doesn't matter.
Oh, that's easy to say, but it's not true. There are a lot of elections that have been chosen by very few votes. We once had a president elected by 537 votes. That's really, really small amount of people. Your school has more people than that, maybe. And there are elections that have come so close that it was down to a coin toss. Just remember, everybody, it's important that you make sure that your grown-ups and the people around you who can vote do. Ask them questions, see if they're going to vote, and if they say they can't, come up with the answers to why they have to vote.
Well, you've convinced me, Mark. I'm going to make sure I vote. And make sure you check out the I Voted stickers and the other downloadable material at the website. Thank you for visiting us, but also thank you for writing the book, I Voted.
It was a pleasure to be here with you. I really like KidLit, and I'm going to tell you, vote markers.
So remember, until next time, read a book in any format.